second part. It's Jem here. Thank you for joining me for day 13, unlucky for some, day 13 of the 31 days of BPD, almost halfway through now. How exciting. So I'm continuing my journey through the 9 signs and symptoms of borderline personality disorder, and we're on the last one now. And like I say, you need 5 or more of these, and this one is, a bit of a challenge to explain, so bear with me. I will do my best to help you understand this symptom even more. Transient stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. Now, how many of those words did I not understand when I first read this? Yeah, a couple. So let's break them down. I'm literally breaking down them word for word in this one because there's a lot of things described in this, and I want to make sure that you understand it as well as possible. So transient, what does this mean? It means something that is short, temporary, or short-lived. So it doesn't happen for a long time. It could happen more than once in the same day, but what will happen is it'll only stay for a short amount of time, maybe a few minutes to a few hours at a time. Stress-related paranoid ideation. What does this mean? Well, paranoia is mean when we're thinking about something, really feeling really unreasonably or obsessively anxious, feeling suspicious, mistrustful. A lot of people with BPD will have a lot of trust issues. This comes from the fear of abandonment and chronic feelings of emptiness. But if you're paranoid about someone, you will be perhaps thinking that they've lied to you, that they've cheated on you, that they've hurt you in some way. And this paranoia will create a lot of stress. So the paranoia comes along, it's short-lived, but it's paranoia. You get this paranoia brought on by a stress. So someone maybe has said something to you, or you've had a disturbed thought about someone, thinking, so-and-so made that comment to me the other day, what did it mean? And you're taking it apart. So you'll be paranoid about this, and it will cause you stress. Paranoid ideation, well, ideation just means the formation of ideas and concepts. So you'll be creating all these paranoid thoughts stemming from something that's happened, and this will keep kind of going round in your head. So it'll almost happen so much, this idea that you're creating these, like, so-and-so doesn't like me, that person looked at me funny, that person laughed at me, why did they laugh at me, that person doesn't understand me, that person's really horrible, that person's really unkind. So you'll have all of these things going through your head, and it's severe paranoia. It doesn't last all the time, but this can happen, and it can happen when you're out. It can happen, to me it happens a lot because of when I'm out with my social anxiety, so I will constantly be feeling paranoid that people have a problem with me or I've done something wrong. So really, really horrible. And this then leads you to dissociate. Dissociate means switching off from the world, kind of almost going into your own reality. Now, sometimes this can include psychosis. Psychosis being that you are hearing and seeing things that aren't there. You could be so paranoid and be so full of stress and paranoia by something that's going on that your reality is no longer the same reality as other people's. So you go into an impaired state of awareness. You're not really as aware as you would have been before. Now, this is a bit different to having an episode, which I've talked about in a previous one, because an episode you are fully immersed in that. This stuff can happen kind of during the day, and it can also happen when you're having an episode as well. But the main thing is that you are not really, you're so paranoid, you're so detached from reality that you're dissociative. So people may kind of think of you at that point as being, maybe a danger to yourself or to others, and you could be, depending on the severity of your paranoia. And it depends on how dissociative you are. Some people become very dissociative that, like I say, they go to psychosis, they hear, see, smell things that aren't really there. I've had that a couple of times. I tend to get foreign smells that I smell, and people are kind of like, I'm constantly like smelling myself and things like that. Real paranoia about being smelly. And this can be, it's something that can just pop into my head. It would be short-lived, but then it might come back again an hour later, and like I say, if I'm out, it could get even worse. So what happens, I'll just sum it up again. Sorry, I'll just say it again. Transient, stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. So you can be really paranoid, and people won't understand why you're being so paranoid. And it's really important here to communicate how you are feeling. Saying to someone, I'm really feeling paranoid right now, might just give you that freedom for them to say, what is it? Tell me you're feeling paranoid. And then you're opening up a conversation about it. So I hope that's explained it well enough. Please talk about your experiences when you've been going through maybe some paranoid ideation about people. What have you done when you go to the severe dissociative symptoms? Do you suffer from psychosis? Do you hear voices? Do you see or smell things that aren't there? It's not always psychosis. I just stress that. You don't always go into a psychosis episode or even a full episode here. It's just that you are on that verge of becoming detached from reality, and once that happens, you're really not in a safe place. I've got through the 9 signs and symptoms of borderline personality disorder. I hope that all these videos, this one and the previous 8, you can play them to people who you are. Okay, so you've just been diagnosed. Play these videos to people who in your family, because sometimes you can say what the illness is like, but I think sometimes they don't realise how severe it can get to sometimes, and how dangerous a place you can go to. Like I say, you need to have at least 5 of those to be given a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, and you need to get that diagnosis from a psychiatrist. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to be going through the bad signs of BPD, the negative effects of BPD, because it can be a real beast. Thank you for watching. This has been day 13, hopefully not so unlucky for some. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye now.